feel the spirit? You know, the other night, a speech I made on Saturday night in a very good place, and we had a great evening, and the ratings came out. You saw that on television. It was the #1 show in Fox history for Saturday night. Ratings. For them, it's all about the ratings. I know that the other folks back there, CNN and MSDNC, I know they're very happy. No, they're very happy to see that Fox had the #1 show. This is the #1 show in the history of Fox News. That's pretty good. Saturday night. Let us also show our appreciation to my good friend Charlie. I'll tell you, Charlie is some piece of work. Who is mobilizing a new generation of pro-American student activists. That's what you are, and really smart. And you'll be up here someday. Somebody in that audience, maybe a few of you, you're going to be up here, right here, who are tough and smart and determined and truly unstoppable. You are. I want to thank also Kimberly, and I want to thank my son. Boy, I watched my son. I got here. Wow. I said, what's this all about? He's good. And people like him. People like him a lot. To everyone here today and watching live all across our country, thank you for bravely defending our nation, our values, and our great American heroes. You know what's going on because you're on the front lines of a tremendous intellectual struggle for the future of our country. It's really what you're talking about, the future of our country. You see what's happening. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. If we weren't here, you could forget it, okay? But we're going to be here, and then you're going to be here, and we're going to keep it going for a long time. November 3rd is a big day. Get out, get the parents, get the friends, get the husband, get the wife, get everybody. Now, the difference is they get everybody, even if they're not registered, if they're not citizens, if they're here illegally, they get everybody. That's one of the little difficulties. And, you know, you go through a whole nation and you see what's going on, and they report zero illegality. Check out California sometime. Check out the deal that they signed with Judicial Watch. It was, I think Judicial Watch was like 1 million or 1.5 million people. They settled, they agreed that many people either voted illegally, shouldn't have been voting, a lot of things. They settled. And Judicial Watch said, look, we were so high, what difference did it make? What difference did it make? No, they play a very dirty game. You're fighting against an oppressive left-wing ideology that is driven by hate and seeks to purge all dissent. And you understand that. Amazing at that age. You're young people generally, a couple of oldsters out there, friends of mine. The radical left demands absolute conformity from every professor, researcher, reporter, journalist, corporation, entertainer, politician, campus speaker, and private citizen. But we have Charlie, and we have our people, and our people are stronger. Our people are stronger, and our people are smarter, and we are the elite. We are the elite. You know, you ever notice? They said it 2 weeks ago. I was talking to somebody, she said, well, you know, the elite. I said, what are you talking about, the elite? Who's the elite? They're the elite? They're not the elite. You're the elite. You are. You're smarter. You're better looking. You have a better future. You know your way around better, believe it or not. There's only one thing they have. They're more vicious. They are vicious. They are vicious people. Anyone who dissents from their orthodoxy must be punished, canceled, or banished. That includes from television, you see it. But you will not be silenced. And you know, the bottom line, I get interviewed by people, and I'm sitting the other day in the Oval Office, and I didn't like the tone. And I said, you know, it's really nice because I'm here and you're not. The Oval Office. And I've said it before. You're the courageous warriors standing in the way of what they want to do and their goals, and standing up for faith and family, God, country, and freedom. Freedom. Spirit, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. But the radical left, they hate our history, they hate our values, and they hate everything we prize as Americans, and we're right. Because our country didn't grow great with them. It grew great with you and your thought process and your ideology. The left-wing mob is trying to demolish our heritage so they can replace it with a new repressive regime that they alone control. They're tearing down statues, desecrating monuments, and purging dissenters. It's not the behavior of a peaceful political movement. It's the behavior of totalitarians and tyrants and people that don't love our country. They don't love our country. The left is not trying to promote justice or equality or lift up the downtrodden. They have one goal, the pursuit of their own political power for whatever reason, but that's their goal. That really seems to be their goal or their sickness. And if you give power to people that demolish monuments and attack churches and seize city streets and set fire to buildings, then nothing is sacred and no one is safe. We stopped them last night. You see that? Andrew Jackson. And brought some to jail, and others are going to jail. The problem we have is states. They're weak. They're weak. Many of the governors, many of the mayors, you see what's going on. And it's, by the way, just so you understand, it's all liberal Democrat states. Could you imagine if Sleepy Joe ever became president? This country would be a mess. They would rip down everything. Everything. Sleepy Joe. And he wouldn't call the shots. Well, he would have nothing to do with it. Lock him in the Oval Office. Let's just do what we want to do. That's why, and you know, today he's with Obama, President Obama. It only took him, how long, a year and a half to endorse him? What did it take, a year and a half to endorse him? Even after he won, he didn't endorse him for a long time. And he's fighting for Sleepy Joe. You know, he really feels strongly about it, so strongly that he was fighting. He wanted everybody to win, but Joe won. But if you remember in my campaign, he fought harder than crooked Hillary. President Obama fought me harder. He said, you cannot let him win. You cannot this. He was all over the place. I said, this guy's spending all of his time campaigning against me. Who won? That's right. And don't forget, I'm only here because of him and Biden. I'm only here because of them. Because if they did a good job, we wouldn't have been here. There would have been no reason. So I'm only here because of President Obama and the job he did, and Sleepy Joe Biden and the job that he didn't do, other than he did a good job for his son. A good job for his son. No, but I'm only here because of them. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. People were very unhappy. The fake news doesn't report it. They were very unhappy. There was tremendous dissent, tremendous anger. A lot of people in this audience, I can tell you. But we're here today to declare that we will never cave to the left wing and the left wing intolerance. We will never surrender to mob violence, and we will uphold American freedom, equality, and justice for every citizen of every background. Very strong. That's who we are, that is what we believe, and that is why we must prevail on November 3rd. We have to prevail. Get out there. So we're honored to be joined by a great gentleman, a great governor of this state. He won by a lot of votes. And I said to him, Governor, how am I doing? He said, you're doing really well. I said, good, because he knows better than anybody. He really has done a tremendous job as governor. Arizona Governor Doug Ducey. Where is Doug? Thank you, Doug. Thank you. And somebody who we need to keep in the Senate, a woman who works very hard. I just got back from something you like, the border wall, Martha McSally. Thank you, Martha. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Martha. We got to get her in. And Mark Kelly, who she's running against, is very weak on China and lots of other things. If between Biden and Kelly and these people, they get in, China will own this country, and they don't own us at all. We have done great. Before the plague set in, before the plague came over, right? It came over. We were doing the greatest. We had the greatest economy we ever had, the greatest job numbers we ever had, the greatest of everything. There wasn't a thing where we weren't number one. We were beating them, and they were having a tough year. 67th. It was one of the worst years they had in 67 years. And we were doing great. And then they said, there's a plague coming over from China. Here it comes. What a disgrace. What a disgrace. And now you saw last week the jobs numbers, the biggest ever. You saw the retail sales numbers, the biggest ever, number one. And we're going to have a very good third quarter. And interesting, we're going to have a good third quarter. And right when those numbers are announced, you have your election. So that's hopefully a sign from up there. But I think we're going to do very well. And they are trying to do their best to keep the country shut down and closed because they'd love those numbers not to be good, but there's not a lot they're going to be able to do about it. Not a lot. But we want to get Martha in, and I want to thank Martha for being here. Governor, I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for being such a great soldier. Thank you. And we also have some of your warriors, great representatives, and they fought with me on the impeachment hoax, one of the great hoaxes based on a telephone conversation that was perfect. I'm the only one that got impeached in history, hopefully will be the only one, that got impeached over a perfect telephone call, like perfect. Perfect. This was like the perfect call. I said, wait a minute. I said, we don't need lawyers, just keep reading. Thank goodness we had it transcribed. It was very good that we had it. Because remember, Adam Schiff got up and he made up a phony story. He made up a phony story. It's what they're all about. I said it before. They're vicious. Paul Gosar, stand up. Paul, where's Paul? Paul, stand up. Paul. Great guy. There's a man, I spoke to him this morning, Andy Biggs. Great guy. Thank you, Andy. Freedom Caucus. Now that Mark Meadows is our great chief, he's our chief. Mark Meadows. By the way, Mark Meadows is here too. Let's have it for Mark Meadows. Mark Meadows. But Andy took over and the Freedom Caucus is doing great. Thank you. Thank you, Andy. Somebody I got to know very well during the hoax. Debbie, let's go. She's great. That's another one. Oh, there she is. She just stood out on television. It was like she popped. She did great. I said, you're so lucky you know me, Debbie. because she really was one of the people. She stood out. Thank you, Deb. Thank you. Another warrior, David Schweikert. David, thank you. Thank you, David. Thank you. And a man who's very understated. He just gets it done behind the scenes, never likes to go on television, never likes talking a lot, but he's a great congressman from one of my favorite states, Florida, Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz. He keeps it low-key and simple, right? No, actually, he keeps it up and not simple. But he's great, and he does a fantastic job. Thank you, Matt. Along with a lot of